Adrian Finnegan, live from Doha. It's 4 hours GMT, 6 o'clock in the morning in Egypt. This is extended coverage of anti-government protests in the country. We'll have all the international reaction as well. Thousands of protesters defy a curfew in Cairo to call for the end of Hosni Mubarak's rule. They're refusing to leave until his 30-year term in office comes to an end. Paraded on Egyptian television, the government says that these people were arrested for using the protests as a cover for looting. And buildings have been burning into the night. This is the Supreme Press Headquarters, close to the National Party offices, which were burned on Friday. So thousands of protesters in Egypt have been defying a curfew for a second night. They're demanding President Hosni Mubarak steps down after 30 years in power. More than 100 people have now died since the protests began on Tuesday. And one of the most recent developments, more than 6,000 prisoners have escaped from a jail after rioting broke out. Ayman Mohyeldin has the details.
Egypt's embattled president tries but fails to appease his angry countrymen and women. Facing another day of mass protests right across the country, Hosni Mubarak sacks his government and appoints his intelligence chief Omar Suleiman as vice president. It does little to quell public anger. Protesters continue to defy an extended nighttime curfew. They say President Hosni Mubarak must go. The police force has all but disappeared, and there is a visible security vacuum on the streets. The Egyptian army has stepped in to take control, and they're asking people to listen to them.
In the name of God, to all of you honest Egyptians, the Defense Ministry wants to let you know that there are a bunch of outlaws and thugs who are going around the country causing havoc, looting and committing serious crimes. We call on you to stick to the curfew, and you have to trust the Defense Ministry that it will be handling the situation with a firm hand and arrest those thugs. I call on you all to follow these instructions for the sake of protecting our beloved Egypt. And I also call on the Egyptian youths to stand against those thugs to protect their honor and possessions. The Egyptian military is always committed to protecting Egypt and its people.
The Egyptian army has stepped in to take control, and they are asking people to listen to them. The army has started arresting the so-called thugs and looters, now roaming the streets during curfew hours. But people, for the most part, welcome soldiers and tanks onto the streets. The army remains the most powerful institution in this suddenly chaotic country, and what it does next will determine the future of Egypt. Ayman Mohyeldin, Al Jazeera, Cairo.